Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video I've come up to Balmaha on the eastern side of Loch Lomond because I was hoping that I might get a dramatic sunset. It's not quite proving that way yet, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the video about just probably one image, and I'm going to talk you through my thought process when I arrive at the location all the way through until I finally settle on a composition that I'm going to go for. Right, so it's about, I think we've got about half an hour till sunset. So I'm quickly running around trying to find a possible composition. And in particular, it looks as though the sun's going to set just over here, behind the island. I think that's Inchcailloch, isn't it? Anyway, behind that island. So really all I'm doing is looking for a foreground interest. Things like maybe this boulder here. Or there are a couple more boulders out in the water there, but I'm just having a look around. There's some trees and stuff here, so I was going to have a look, see if there was maybe a tree stump or something like that I might be able to use. But if not, then it's probably going to have to be those boulders. Right, I do have this tree. But the problem is, it's blending with the background. So, is there a shot? Probably not. I'll keep looking. Okay, what about this? We've got this lovely tree, mountain backdrop, and then it looks like the sun is going to set right about here. So if I go wide enough, I might be able to get a shot, something like that. You know, so you've got the branch of the trees forming a leading line, taking you down to what is hopefully going to be a nice dramatic sunset. I've got some stones in the foreground. But that's about it really. Yeah, this looks like it might be, because you've got the sun's going to, I think the sun will set probably around about here, and you've got this, it's almost like a semicircle of branches and stuff like that framing the setting sun. Right, I've got the camera out and on the tripod, as you can see, but I'm suddenly having second thoughts about this composition. I'm using the 16 to 35mm lens, and I'm right out close to 16mm. I think it's about maybe 18mm at the moment, and that's quite wide. And the reason I was doing that was I wanted to also include these boulders in the foreground. But the problem with doing that is, well, A, it diminishes the size of the sunset. It's not quite as dramatic, but also it includes some of the shoreline here, and that's quite distracting. It'd have been better if I could have included the boulders, the sunset and the trees in that arch, but not included the shoreline. It's not much to ask, is it? So I'm thinking now that I might have to either move or lose the boulders and just go for that kind of a shot. Right, I've changed things around a little bit. Still got the camera set up using this tree as a leading line. Still got this little arch as a kind of framing tool. Pretty much lost the main boulders. You can still see just a little glimpse of the boulders, I think, in the bottom of the frame. and I'm just waiting for the sun to begin to set to see if we can get some nice colours, especially on the underside of these clouds here. Right, I'm actually being really indecisive here because I know I've pretty much got one go at this. I can't quite settle on what composition I'm looking for. I've had it up about head height, and including the boulders, and then I had it down low, so I made more of the boulders and still including the sunset in that branch. And now what I've done is I've gone for a vertical crop. This is the kind of composition that I'm going for here. So you've got the branch leading over, sunset is going to be in round about there, but the advantage of it being vertical is that we still include these foreground boulders. We're actually also including these mossy boulders at the base of the tree, so I'm hoping that will give it a wee bit more interest. Right, changed my mind again. I've gone back to the horizontal crop, and the reason for that is it looks as though the sun is actually going to set just a little to this side of the island. With the sun now setting slightly more to the right, I felt the vertical crop was slightly unbalanced because I had to move the camera to compensate for the change, and that meant I was using more of the tree on the right and less on the left, and the whole image just felt as if it was out of balance. So I switched back over to the horizontal crop because that could get a little bit wider and meant that I could retain a little bit more of the tree on the left, and that helped with the overall balance of the composition. Yeah, the light's gone. For a split second there, the light was hitting these trees, and I thought there was a chance it might hit this tree and light up this with some beautiful golden light, but it doesn't look like it's going to, and it looks as though it's going to set behind that little ridge now. So we might have seen the last of the direct sunlight for today, which is a shame. The light is hitting those trees just there again. If only we can get it on this tree, this side of the tree, I think that would be the shot. Right, this is getting ridiculous. Basically, it's the same rough idea, but while I was shooting here, I didn't like the way that this branch was probably going to overlap with the setting sun, and also it was kind of dropping behind the hills and overlapping with the water. So what I've done is I've got down a bit lower, down to about here, and that resolves both of those problems. Still allows me to keep the boulders here in the foreground, still allows me to keep that little archway, still got the leading line of this tree, and the same here. So I think this is now going to be the composition that I go for. It's one I settle on. If only we could get a little bit of direct light on these foreground rocks, that would be perfect. Right, it's looking like we're getting near the business end. Still no direct light, so I'm guessing all these rocks are going to be silhouetted, as will the trees. But nice framing, but foreground interest. Don't quite have the clouds catching the light as yet, but there's still time. So it's got potential. And I'm determined to not move again. So this is the composition, I think. Right, let me quickly talk you through the settings that I'm using. I'm at 16mm on a 16 to 35mm lens, ISO 100, f16, and that's given me, I'm having to bracket the exposures, so it's given me an exposure of 1/60th of a second for the bright part of the sky, and then I'm taking a second exposure for the foreground here, and that's about 1/10 of a second. And hopefully I'll be able to recover the details in the one that shoots for the highlights, but if not, at least I've got that file I can blend it in. It's just a matter now of waiting to see if we get any dramatic colour in these clouds. It's not looking certain at the moment, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much of a sunset. It looks like there's some very thick clouds on the horizon. There is some snow forecast for tonight, so it could well be that that's it coming towards us. But unfortunately that's blocking the sunset. That's quite a nice composition as well, isn't it? But that, because I settled on using these trees, I couldn't go that wide. Do you know what, I might quickly grab this, ignore the trees completely, and see if this is maybe alternative composition too. Yeah, unfortunately I think that's sunset's peaked, and that looks like snow coming down the loch, so I'm going to make my way back up to the path. So that's us for this video. Just the way of things, isn't it? Sometimes you just don't get the dramatic light that you thought you were going to get, but hopefully the chat about how I settled on the final composition could be of help to somebody. If you enjoyed the video, give us a little thumbs up. Feel free to hit subscribe, and subscribe to my monthly newsletter if you like. I'll leave a link in the description below. Sorry, I keep looking because just in the off chance the light improves, but it's not. Right, catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.